Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for a special edition of the Madroit podcast. Mike Tyson, Jake Paul, and how the marketing that they did for their fight can apply to your business.
Let's fight. I mean, let's talk about marketing, sales, hype, and the fight.
All right, so let's jump in. So, what we're talking about today, we have Mike Tyson, 58-year-old legendary boxer, facing Jake Paul, 27-year-old YouTuber turned boxer. This generated over 108 million viewers worldwide, which made it the most streamed global sporting event ever. Question today, how is this done?
Yeah. Was it hype and marketing? Was it worth it? Was some of the snafus streaming wise for Netflix? Like, was it worth it? And who was it worth it for?
Yeah, I think so much use of the pre-fight hype, and we talk about it in marketing often, right? The sizzle reel, like just giving that little glimpse of something. We used to say it back in the John Deere space, where it was like, show that slow motion 20-second clip of the mower going over and just chopping that grass, and just brings so much feeling. And
Yeah.
that's what they did with this. You see the clips of Mike Tyson just going hard in training, and
Yeah.
Jake Paul talking what he talks and doing the same thing. It creates that drama.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. The narrative. Not a lot of people like Jake Paul. Some people definitely do, right? But he's someone you don't necessarily love. Provokes a lot of feelings. And Mike Tyson, this legendary boxer, like the nostalgia of him for some people. And I didn't even watch him growing up, but like I've seen the clips. I was like 5-second knockouts, right? So intense. So seeing him train, the hype for it, even though the age disparity, you still have this like hope for Mike Tyson to win.
Yeah, and I think for me, it almost came off very like WWE-ish, like professional wrestling, where it's yeah, that old guy, or like even Rocky Balboa, where he's still got one punch left in him.
Yeah.
And believe me, with the back and forth, like the entire time, and like postponing the fight from the original start or the original date to when it was now, it was really coordinated, and I really well worked. And I think audience engagement wise too, where there were so many polls, right? And then, oh wait, you can actually bet on this fight. There was even that angle where it just lured so many people in, and their use of influencers and social media, I think, really allowed them to touch a lot of different demographics too.
Oh yeah. And just like you said, how it's all coordinated, the promotion, publicity, PR, advertising, right? Like my fiance, she does not watch boxing. I wanted to watch the night of. She's like, no, I want to watch this. All right. Next day I see her streaming it without me. Like,
No,
I know they did such a good job, and it was all coordinated, right? Like PR, especially the promotion, the publicity, getting people to talk about it, right?
yes.
Like engagement of the content, like people weighing in on who they think would win. And that's all marketing for Netflix, Mike Tyson, and Jake Paul.
Yeah, and I think one question that I think we heard a little bit too, and heard in different, who won? Not even people have their thoughts about the fight. Was Tyson pulling his punches? Did Jake Paul carry him? There's so many different thoughts on it, but who did it help the most?
Yeah, business wise, right?
Yeah.
Netflix, Jake Paul, Mike Tyson. Netflix, with how many streams they got, that was a big event. A lot of people talking about it, but they had a lot of issues. So
Right.
was it worth it? I'm not sure. I'd be curious to hear what they think about it internally. Was this a good thing or bad? And
Well,
they've definitely had to do PR after the fact to talk about the streaming issues for so many people. But Jake Paul, I feel like he probably won. Mike Tyson, I feel like probably won too.
yeah,
Outside of
I was thinking about it, this very question, prior to this, and I was just like, man, I think when it comes to who won, Mike Tyson for me, with the questions about, man, was he backing off? Did he get everything? It really almost kind of positions him for another fight.
Oh yeah.
And Jake Paul's going nowhere fast. Like he's turned this heel role, like they would call it in professional wrestling, where now he's the bad guy. And he'll have suitors that want to come and want the publicity, want the fight. So I think he positioned himself to get some longevity out of this. Netflix, I think, in the streaming platform battle that we live in right now, I think this was a win for them, even if there were streaming issues, right? Like those issues are consistent across platform. But for Netflix to have this kind of event, I think definitely set a shot across the bow. Yeah, we can pull these type of events in. 108 million viewers. That's nuts.
Yeah, that is. I think you're right. Like they did win. I would say the next big event, do they have these streaming issues and it doesn't become the norm for them to have streaming issues, that could hurt. But until then, I think that, and maybe from the end fight and like how people felt about it, if they have another fight like that, do they feel the same way? But how often do you get that in boxing or wrestling or fighting? Like
Yeah.
all the hype and the end result is a lot of anticipation, waiting, excitement, and then
Yeah.
kind of a snooze on the end result or the fight.
And it was like it almost didn't matter at that point.
Yeah.
Because of all the work that's been done prior to, which naturally, as we typically tend to do on this podcast, how does that translate into your business? How can you apply that to what you focus on, how you build your plan, like what your sales funnel looks like? How can all those things apply? So, as we typically do in this podcast, how do you take the example from what we saw here and generate that Mike Tyson, Jake Paul hype and marketing effort into your day-to-day business? How are we able to execute on that front with what we learned from the Jake Paul, Mike Tyson fight?
Yeah. Unlike people who watched the fight and felt like about it right towards the end, left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth. Not saying it wasn't worth it, but that was the case. For businesses, we want to make sure we leave a good taste in the customer, client, patient's mouth. So applying something we talk about all the time, sell the sizzle, not the steak. So the hype, that sizzle, right? We want to sell that, not the steak, but we want to deliver the steak and make sure we delight the customers, the clients during that whole process. So good example for like B2B, a law firm, a traditional approach might be detailing legal services that they provide and qualifications. The sizzle, the hype approach would be emphasizing the relief of having a trusted advocate, the confidence of navigating legal complexity smoothly, and the empowerment of understanding one's rights. And then delighting that client can be transparent communication, empathy and support, accessibility, some things that you might not get from your legal counsel at times.
Yeah, 100%. I would say even similar with the B2C approach, right? Like you would list your services offered and your technical specifications that you guys provide. The Sizzle approach, though, would have you focusing more on the comfort of a well-maintained home, right? The health benefits of clean air and water and the confidence of a bright and healthy smile that ultimately is like, man, I really need that. I really want that. And then delighting those clients again in the same way, like respond quickly to service requests and arrive on time. We said it before. Do what you said you're going to do. The cleanliness and respect, I think, maintain tidy work area and respect the client's property. Those are absolute have-tos. And then follow up, right? Check in after the service to ensure satisfaction and address any concerns that they may have. So open those ears up, be a good listener, and be there to help them if they need it.
Absolutely. And you do all of that, you delight them, they will refer people to you, which is the point of this, to help them become an advocate for you.
Yeah, 1000%. Like, again, just ensuring a positive customer experience for those customers is huge. Deliver on your promises, right? Ensure that the actual service matches or exceeds, right, the expectations set during marketing. This builds trust and is ultimately going to help foster that repeat business.
Absolutely. I think personalizing the interactions, right? Like we can automate so much, but if it doesn't feel authentic and genuine, it's off putting, right? So personalizing those interactions, providing excellent customer service, right? So many businesses, you have to do the baseline service, but the customer service is where you really build the company and the brand equity.
For sure. Yeah. And I'd say last, make sure that you seek and act on feedback regularly. Make sure you're gathering or even the opportunity to gather customer feedback, make improvements based on those insights. You were just working very closely with them. So make sure that you're listening again and ready to act. And then obviously showing them that their opinions are valued. That's how you get more, and more will lead to better process. More will lead to better service overall.
Absolutely.
All right, my friends, that is our episode for today. Please make sure to like and subscribe to the podcast wherever and however you listen to your podcast. And if you have any questions you want us to talk about on the pod or want to get in touch with us, please visit madroitmarketing.com/podcast. Thanks, guys.